My guest today is Her Excellency Mrs. Oludolapo Osinbajo, wife of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you so much for allowing us in your residence.
Thank you.
Now, there's so much we hear about you, so much is written about you, but I wonder, and I want to start on the family front, on the genealogy. You are the granddaughter of one of the most celebrated leaders in the country, Awolowo. How much of growing up in that lineage prepared you for today, would you say?
A lot. I spent a lot of time with my grandparents growing up. I lived with them through my primary school. And I got to watch both inside and out. And I believe he is one of the people that can be said of him that he's the same inside and out.
Let me ask you though, it's great you got to spend time with him and your grandma. What's the biggest lesson, looking back now, what's the biggest lesson that you took from them that's helping you in this particular chapter in your journey?
Focus. He had a singular mind. He loved the people and constantly thought of ways to make their lives better. And that's the life we lived.
Right. And so talking about loving the people, you must be bored of talking about, they call me mama now, because you've written several other books. I'm going to have to take you back there for a minute, if you don't mind, because you, in your own journals, you talk about the street kids that we call in Nigeria area boys, and your work with them. And there's some heart-wrenching stories you capture in there. What was it that made you feel safe enough to do that journey? Because their reputation in the country, even outside of the country, is quite vicious.
I believe it's because I depended on the word. It was the Lord that told me one Sunday to go under the bridge. And I remember arguing with him. We had a minister in the church then who's very big and burly, and asking the Lord to send him instead because I thought he would be better accepted and probably more respected than I would. My voice isn't very loud. I'm not particularly tall or imposing. But from the moment I got there, I realized that it would be part of my life's work. And my most spectacular experiences in the faith were under the bridge. My tongues changed under the bridge. I realized I have courage under the bridge. I learned to love like Jesus under the bridge. The boys and men, because we had men as well, they were very dirty, they were very smelly, they were very vicious, but I think the love of God was what they were missing, and that's what I took to them.
Now, you're a qualified lawyer, but you're a minister. You and your husband are pastors of a branch of a church. You do your journey with them. You discover the humanity of these boys. Were there times when you were at home and you wept out of frustration, not being able to do as much as you wanted to for them?
Many times. The weeping still hasn't stopped. Because
the weeping hasn't stopped?
It hasn't stopped.
Wow.
It hasn't stopped. Because not all of them came out from that life. But even for those that came out, they're still weeping. There's still tears of joy. I realized that what a lot of people need is a little help. And once they get the help, then they're fine. I'll give an example of a day we were under the bridge and there was an armed robbery attack further down the road. The policemen stopped traffic going down the road past where we were, and they asked everyone to move back. But because we were under the bridge, we couldn't move back. I remember having a choice to wait under the bridge or to leave them. But that day I waited. And what the situation was is that the police had on all their bulletproof jackets They took position, they barricaded the road, expecting the robbers to drive by that way. So literally they were expecting a shootout. But I know that if I left them, they would have started running. Some of them may have been shot at or hurt by the police, but because we were there, people knew they weren't all that bad.
Did you ever fear for your life? I mean, you're talking as though it's normal behavior, but it's insane.
When you come to Christ, you become a new creature. All things pass away and all things become new. I had a very sheltered upbringing, but in Christ I now have prison warders and such on my phone, on my phone contacts. So I guess my new life in Christ is rather curious.
How much did prayer help you to carry? Because you have a reputation. I live in the UK, and your reputation back there even is of a prayer warrior. Come close to a prayer contractor. How much of that helped you to carry this burden?
I don't think I would put it that way. I think it was just purely the grace of God. Mm-hmm. Because fighting under the bridge, there wasn't a build-up. In 10 seconds, there was blood. So there wasn't a slow build-up. It was fight blood in 5 seconds flat. So it really was just purely the grace of God.
Your Excellency, I would really love to explore some more of the things you do, because I know that being the person you are, you don't like to go on the rooftops to talk about it, but there's some real exciting, life-changing work that you're doing, and I would love to be the megaphone for you, if you do not mind.